Welcome to our show, No Sheets Given, where William and I will review the hottest threads on the internet around the hotel industry, anything from guest experience to sustainability practices, giving you the most entertaining dose of audio and visual experience every single week.
Yeah, and to give you guys some history about ourselves, basically Bing and I started a company called Locks and Supply, and we're Canada's #1 sustainable linen supplier. And basically, we've come across a lot of situations and stories going from hotel to hotel, which have gone unheard. And we think this is very applicable to, guests out there, if you're traveling lots or if you are a hotel owner, manager. And we want to tell you why in this situation you should give a shit about what's going on. It's going to be, really fun. I think we're going to be sharing a little bit about our experience as well along the way. And yeah, today we're going to start it off. Today's our first episode, and then we're going to see exactly where we get to.
Yeah, and today we have some fire topics for you guys, okay? Today's punchline, this week's punchline is don't be an a-hole. And you'll see why I chose that punchline. I've got a few stories here that I'm going to read to you guys, and then we're going to give our perspectives on it. And then you can also comment in the bottom after you seeing this video. You can comment on what your thoughts are on these situations, and then we'll have fun chatting about it. So yeah, let's go right into it. So the first one that we have is titled "The Hotel Industry is Terrible," right? So basically, I'm going to read it out to you. Basically, it talks about why people are leaving the industry and why they don't think it's a good industry to work in, which is completely not true in most cases. This post was from a year ago.
Okay.
Right? So it starts off by saying, I have worked or been in management for multiple franchise hotels for a big brand for about 12 years. And I absolutely am over the entire industry. I would love to hear others' opinions and thoughts. And it goes, the hotel industry will abuse its employees like nothing else. Management is always salaried and expected to work 10-plus-hour days. Truly for what? At one point, I was running a property for $36,000 a year. I think that's a USD.
Oh, USD, yeah,
So,
that makes more sense.
Comparatively, you can say give or take about 50K Canadian a year. Hourly staff is supposed to just put up with long hours because ownership won't make any changes to increase hourly wages to entice more staff to be hired. A lot of ownership companies think $13 an hour is fine for housekeeping. Truly insane. And I believe that's actually pretty low for Canadian standards, yeah. And which we'll go deeper into that later. You get yelled at from the people you work for and the people you're supposed to be taking care of that are staying at the hotel. You cannot win in any sense. And don't get me started on how people have started to be since COVID. People are even more insane now. It's saying that owners do not want to put any money into properties that are absolutely falling apart and still expect them to get raving reviews and make budget. And if they don't, somehow it's your head on the chopping block. There are many quote-unquote leaders in a position that shouldn't be in due to their complete incompetence, which you have to make up for essentially. I have had so many people that were my leaders or leaders I have worked with that I had to show them how to do things or how things are supposed to be done, such as in my last position, I was a sales manager for 2 properties, and essentially they wanted me to be at the properties 7 days a week because the operation team could simply not handle anything. You're also on call 24/7. You always have to be alert, and your whole life has to be surrounded by the hotel, and you are always worried about job safety. The industry is not worth it at all.
Wow. Those are some fighting words.
Yeah, that's a strong article.
That's a strong take. That's a strong
coming from
take.
someone who has a lot to say. So basically in this article it's saying that people get abused in this industry. Owners don't care about a property or their team. They're taking care of the property, right? And owners basically just treating it like an ATM machine. Which we have seen a lot.
I say we have seen, but as much as I've seen it, I've also seen the opposite. So yeah, it is a strong take because he does say things like always.
Yeah.
It makes it sound like every hotel is going to be the exact same. But.
Exactly. And we hear this a lot though, from even back when we were doing vacation rental management. We also did Airbnbs and VRBOs as well.
Yeah, this is we'll get into that for another time. We'll save it for later.
We hear this a lot from the people that we talk to at conventions and at trade shows and things like that. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people have to be on call 24/7, and why do you think people think it's a toxic environment to work in?
Well, I would say for the on call, I
Mm.
think just naturally with the way things are, be it if you're on Airbnb or you're in a hotel, people expect to get service at any time
Yeah.
of the day. It could be in the middle of the night, it could be in the morning, So I think what happens is that maybe the hotel sometimes don't have practices sometimes, so they're caught off guard, meaning that they're gonna call you or you're gonna be forced to take a call or a client request out of
Yeah.
nowhere, which we've experienced stuff like that.
Yeah.
Being called 2, 3 a.m. Hey, there's something going on. It's not even really that big of a deal. Or you have situations where they don't have as much staff or support staff, but you're just expected to be able to keep the show running, right? Because that's just kind of how people expect nowadays, I would say,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And if you know hotels there, most of them are open 24/7, right? Because travelers sometimes they get in late at night, they have to check in and things like that. So there's always someone at front desk. Now, is the same person doing the 3 shifts? I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Most hotels have multiple shifts, and they always have a duty managers. However, because the business is running 24/7, we've come across GMs or even directors of operations. They're always by their phone. Doesn't mean they have to be at work. They can be far away, but they just have to be by their phone in case someone calls them for some sort of issues that need some sort of overriding, right? It's that level of authority that people have to go through to get some things done, and it is normal. But I wouldn't say that it's a toxic environment to work at unless you're working for toxic people, right?
Yeah. I would say it's very determinant on who you work for and how they have things set up. Because if things are set up properly, honestly, I don't think it's any different than any other workplace.
Yeah.
Because most likely they're going to have a front desk manager maybe in the evening or some ability to do things. And of course, every job has some emergencies. If the police is surrounding your building, I imagine you're gonna get called in. Or any job,
exactly.
if you're probably the person who's in charge, you're gonna get called in. I assume.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah.
And it actually happened in not just in hotel industry, it actually happened to us in our previous work too. So we used to work in under a distribution setting where our company that hired us, they had major contracts with pharmacies around the country, right? So we were basically on call 24/7, but does that mean we can't go to sleep at night?
No. I slept nice and sound.
So you have to have certain processes in place, right? You have to empower your employees to do certain things while you're away, and that's how businesses run. Like, do you think Bill Gates on the clock 24/7?
No, probably not.
I doubt it, right? Like, those people have other people to take care of those emergencies, take care of their jobs for them. But then also another thing I want to touch on is that to dissect this article, I think there are multiple levels of interest in here. I mean, obviously, everybody has different opinions depending on what level you work at, right? So if you think about a hotel, there are the owners, the investors, right? And then there's managers, and then there are hourly staff. They all have different priorities. Now, where hotels succeed the most is they're able to align everybody on the same goal and on the same purpose, right? Investors, if you think about it, all they care about is the numbers, right? Like what's your gross profit? What's their return on investment at the end of the year, right? So they are obviously not going to care about what hourly staff has to do when they're cleaning each room. But some do, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to be on site every single day, right?
That's true.
They have other things to take care of. And then you have the manager level who are dealing with the day-to-day issues, but on a more bigger picture as well, right? Like, are they meeting budget, right? How many people are showing up to work today? How am I going to make up for the gap? And then there's hourly staff who might be worried about, well, we're running low on laundry detergent. How come things are not being done when it's being laid on me, right? So things like that. But what makes successful hotels successful is that they are able to align everybody on the same goal. They get everybody on the same page, right? Managers are being responsive to the people, to the hourly staff, to their needs, and are actually taking care of those things in a timely manner. And that investors actually put processes in place for managers to do their job more efficiently, more effectively. And I think that's what makes the place successful.
I will interject though. I think though it makes it successful, I think the one thing where maybe hotels maybe sometimes struggle with, I think it's like every business is managing expectations for each different level, right?
Yeah.
I think the expectations for if you're at like the investor owner, usually your expectation is to make money, make a return, have people who understand their costs, understand what they're doing, understand the goal and the brand, right? Then you have managers, they have their own expectations put onto them by owners, but also expectations that they have for the owners, maybe in terms of like work-life balance, right? Like, a lot of times, you hear him talking about COVID, right? And, he's talking about the change in COVID, but then you can actually hear the flip of the switch because he was saying that, he has to work on site, meaning I'm assuming he was hoping to have a little bit of flex time, which is like a work from home, which kind of stemmed also from COVID, right? So
exactly.
it's like, if you catch it, it's kind of like his expectations also like the opposite. Like he also is part of the change, right?
And also, he also mentioned one thing that's a big hint about why the company that he was working for was not successful. If you listen to what I said, he's a sales manager, yet he's being asked to take care of operations as well. So like that right there is a big red flag, right?
Correct,
like if you're a sales manager, you should not be taking care of operations because that's just not your job. Your job as a sales manager is to manage sales team, right? Like to make sure like venues are getting booked, you're getting corporate functions, you're getting those group stays. Like what the hell are you doing in operations, right? Why are you taking care of the housekeepers?
I imagine some smaller hotels need help on occasion, so it really depends on the operation. But I think if you're really trying to be focused, ideally you have situations where people are able to like handle that job to its entirety. Right?
I mean, it's a huge red flag and it's an indicator that the ownership is not actually putting in processes and procedures to take care of the business. Like they're running too thin. They should have an operations manager or a general manager to take care of the operation side aside from the sales, right? But yet here in this scenario, he's being asked to do both.
Yeah, or even like really quick to add, they could have maybe even empowered a current employee, like a housekeeping manager or somebody to help out with some of his operational tasks or something like that, or a front desk manager.
Exactly.
So I guess there's lots of options, but it doesn't sound like they were taking it here.
End of the story. Why should you give a shit about the situation, right? I think we just talked about the differentiation between a successful hotel and an unsuccessful hotel, right? You have to don't be an a-hole. You have to really take care of your business, take care of the people that work within your business, right? Empower them, give them the proper tools and processes to do their job effectively and efficiently. So nobody's stretched too thin and things like that. And also reinvesting versus treating it like an ATM is a big differentiator between successful hotels and unsuccessful hotels, right? Like we've come across many people that have multi-properties across the entire nation, across Canada, and sometimes in the US too. What's the biggest difference between them and let's say a highway motel that's running a 30% occupancy, right? It's because they're constantly reinvesting into their business. Renovations, right? Renovating those hotels time after time, reinvesting in their labor, getting them training, on a constant basis, right? Showing them appreciations, right? Many hotels have employee appreciation days, not even like once a year, sometimes every single month, right? For hitting certain targets. So those are the things that you can implement into your business to keep everyone happy, to keep the business running. So
and quickly to add, I would say also things like clear expectations. So people know exactly what to expect in their job role. And then also other ways that we saw that people have invested in the business, apart from like, doing renovations, is also just being connected, right? Being on the dial on what's going on in the trends. So being part of associations, doing things with the city. And I find that has helped a lot of places stay visible and stay on the move and be flexible, because with nowadays, Airbnb came, maybe it's going to go, maybe it stays wherever you are. But, nowadays we find that things are changing quick. So you need to be like on the pulse, right?
You have to be able to adapt, right?
Exactly.
Which brings us to the next topic. This one is about more so guest experience from both ends, from the hotel and also from the guest side. So this post was from 4 days ago.
Hot
4 days ago.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, hot off the press. So I think this one is not at a hotel. It's actually at a hot spring, but still within the
still
realm
within,
of hospitality.
yeah.
So it's 7:40 a.m. I pull into the parking lot. This is from the employee perspective.
Okay, yeah.
A cold Red Bull in my hand, and what do I see? Two guests standing at the front gate, pulling on it like it's going to magically open if they just believe hard enough. So they're yanking.
Oh, so they're
on the
yanking.
door.
They're
Yeah.
yanking it hard.
So this employee says, as I sip my Red Bull and brace for the inevitable, we've been waiting speech, I finally unlock the gate, and naturally they swarm the lobby door, which is also locked. And no, I'm not opening it yet. I've got my morning checklist and it's getting done before anyone gets to stand on my shoulder, breathing in. Can I ask you a question real quick? Energy at me. So this employee doesn't sound like they like their job much. Through the glass, I watch them tugging on the door like raccoons at a trash can. Well, like, you should never describe your guest that way, by the
That's a
way.
raccoon.
That's a huge red flag, but we'll get to it later.
Yeah.
While I calmly open the curtains and go about my business, eventually they give up and sit at the patio tables. Another guest joins them, and boom, instant morning gossip circle. This guy's making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, he's making some crazy jumps.
No doubt complaining about the lazy girl inside refusing to open early. So I think it's a lady.
Yeah.
Finally, I finish my opening tasks, unlock the door, and even leave it slightly ajar. An obvious sign that I'm ready to for walk-ins. And what do? Keep scowling and chatting among themselves like they got all day. Cool. Works for me. And while they're busy clearing, one of our regular walk-ins stroll right in, signs in, picks their tub, and starts their process. Smooth, easy, polite. Naturally, this encourages the gossip circle. Karen number one storms up.
Karen number one
storms up. I'm not making this up. This is actually someone posted this. Karen number one storms up, ready for battle. Excuse me, we've been out here waiting, and it's not fair that they got to pick the first tub. And this lady says, ma'am, we've been open for 5 minutes. 5. And you've been talking outside instead of coming inside. So I look her dead in the eyes and said, it's first come, first served. How am I supposed to know you didn't want to just sit out there and chat?
Wow.
Wow. The guest ahead of you pick their tub, and you would do the same. 3 tubs are still open, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
That's a crazy take.
Cue Karen number 2, backing up her friend like she's about to win this case in Hot Springs court. Well, I just can't believe how rude you're being. They cut the line. And she said, no, ma'am. This isn't kindergarten. There is no line. There are tubs. You sign in, you pick one, you wait for it to fill, soak, and you leave. That's it. Not up for debate.
Wow.
Damn. That's bold. They both just kind of stared at me, dumbfounded that I dared to be so direct. But eventually, they shut up, pick the tub, sit down like everyone else. And the best part is, the third member of this little group, slightly sassy but less aggressive, declares that one of the tubs smells like pee, which, by the way, no. They are cleaned between every guest, and you're smelling sulfur. It's literally the point. After a quick tub swap, she was satisfied. She had a soak and even leaves me a $20 tip. Meanwhile, the Karens soak in silence. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I sip my Red Bull slowly, because watching entitlement fizzle out in real time is the best part of my morning routine. Wow.
Before you go into it, you know what? I'll play devil's advocate here, okay?
Yeah.
I've been in that role. I've been there. You know, I've worked at jobs where I've seen people congregating at the gate, tugging, like actually being like, hey, open the door, what's going on?
The gate yankers.
And, you know, I think in a sense, if you don't have passion around your job, or maybe not even passion around the job, maybe just passion around like your own, like who you are, like, you know, just being able to do a good job, it's very easy to just be like almost a little demoralized.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can empathize maybe with the sensation of when you come there, that you kind of get this immediate stress, and maybe some people just don't know how to handle it. Yeah, they just don't know how to handle it.
That's exactly it. People don't know how to handle the emotions properly most of the time, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, playing the devil's advocate, like who do you think is at fault here? I think they're at fault at both parties. The employee should not be that rude.
No,
Like,
but
it's
no.
okay. You said it's 7:59 a.m.
Yes,
right? And you say you open at 8.
that's what I'm saying. It's
Like-
1 minute.
Like, how much more tasks can you do in that 1 minute, right?
Well, I would even say, to take it one step further, this could have been solved with 1-2 second conversation.
Yeah.
She could have said it, hey, I'm just getting here. It's going to be open in a minute.
Yeah,
Can you give me a moment? I will come back out and let you know as
Exactly.
soon as we're open.
exactly.
They would have been just fine.
Yeah, exactly. And also on the other part, like from the guest side, I know that in retail stores, it's kind of an unspoken rule that you don't go in half an hour before they close, right? Because staff have a lot of cleanup to do. They have to reorganize everything, and same thing goes for the opening, right? Like they said in here, they have opening tasks to do. So the guests just yanking on the door, hoping they'll open. Things like that obviously are inappropriate behaviors. But at the same time, like William said, it could easily be resolved with a 2-sentence conversation saying like, hey,
Yeah.
we're opening in 1 minute. I just have a couple things to wrap up as part of my opening routine. I work here. Like, I understand your concern. I'll come back to you, right? But yeah,
My favorite part, though, I don't know if anyone else thinks like this. Okay, so let's think about this. Okay, It's not like I'm an investigator out here, but
Yeah.
to me, when I hear stories like that, I start thinking. So she got there 7:59,
yeah,
meaning she had to rush in because it's opening in 1 minute.
yeah.
Meaning she opened the gate, did not explain, just drove past. Okay. Then she said that they were opening the door and she just was sipping her Red Bull. So already the timeline don't match up.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's probably like 8:01, if we're being honest.
Mhm.
And then she must have just walked in and not said anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they didn't have they had no idea, right? They were just waiting out there.
Yeah, yeah. Like they didn't even know they were open,
Yeah. So
right?
I would
Like
assume,
until
yeah.
the first person walks in, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, but even then, right? Like, okay, like they took the first one. Like you being an employee, knowing that they were outside waiting for so long, wouldn't you feel the need to go and update them, be like, hey, we're finally open. Thank you for your patience.
Mhm.
But instead, like they just let them sit out there and chat,
Yeah.
right? Like I understand that you like don't want to assume anything, right? But still, I mean that's like doing your job at the bare minimum.
Well, it's kind of crazy because okay, now to take away and put myself in the people coming there. I've also been in situations where I need to get somewhere,
Mhm.
right at the beginning open because I have things in my day.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Sometimes appointments like this, especially if it's like you might sign on a tub, but you have like a certain time limit, like 30 minutes or an hour, right, within the time window. So you need to kind of get in and get out. And when I go somewhere and I'm like, it's 5 or 6 or 7 minutes, or 10 minutes past open, I'm gonna be like, okay, what's going on? Or like, have you ever been somewhere and there's no one there, it's closed? You're like,
Yeah.
hey, where is anybody, right? Like, usually you would expect, even if you are gonna get inside at 8, you should be able to drive your car through the gate.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
so like even some of those things, like where she's getting mad, like I'm just acting myself. If I got to a place and I know it's gonna open in a minute, I'm thinking, I don't wanna be late. Maybe the gate I have to open it, especially for the first time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like who knows? Maybe they've never been there before.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And then there's also kind of a little bit out of context too, like what is this outside, right? Like, are you talking about in Calgary in January,
Mhm.
where like it's blizzarding outside, right? Like -40. Who knows, right? Like I'll be yanking the gate too, to be honest. It's a little bit out of context. We don't know what the
Exactly, yeah,
entire
that's true.
situation was
That's
like,
true.
right? Maybe the employee's having a bad day. Maybe like they show up late for work. Maybe.
Well, honestly, I'm no CSI, but it had to be 8:10, but a minimum 8:10. I've done jobs. It had to be 8:10 by the time that they open. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no way. You drive through the gate, you open the gate,
Yeah.
she walked through them again, go through
Yeah.
in, opening blinds.
Yeah.
Unless she's a flash, she didn't do it in 2
Yeah.
minutes, unfortunately.
And as an employee, you always have to kind of show sympathy, right? You have to understand where the guests are coming from. They are there before it opens,
Mhm.
which means to me that they are trying to beat the crowd. They're trying to beat the rush, right? So maybe they're traveling to the area. I know me and my wife do this when we travel. We want to get there first thing,
Mhm.
right? Most recent one, okay, Team Labs
Yeah.
in Japan, right? We went to Team Labs in Japan. If you know this, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain it. I know you have to like book an appointment and stuff. We
Yeah.
booked an appointment for I think 10 a.m. but we were there at 9:30.
Oh, because it gets so busy.
Exactly,
It gets so
because
busy.
we didn't want to miss the window just because of how long the lines were,
Yeah.
right? So we got there early. So this could be the same situation here. They're trying to beat the crowd first time, like you said, trying to beat the rush, trying to get the time so they can get soaked, right? Enjoy the experience and then get out and move on to their next thing. This employee did not think about that. They only thought about themselves, right? I mean, like, come on, like you can at least have a little bit more sympathy than that.
But I will say, on a side note though, this is why I think when you are hiring, if you are hiring people,
Yeah.
you need to find someone who's at least a people person.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, regardless of the situation, if they're at least a people person, they're gonna be able to treat someone like a person, right? Like
Mhm.
it takes almost no effort, right? Like to just say, hey, I'm so sorry, just give me one moment, I'll let you know once we're open.
Mhm.
I bet you they might have not even noticed the watch. Maybe they'll be like, oh, they might comment on,
Yeah.
oh, it's been a minute over, but you could just say, oh, so sorry, like
Yeah.
it just took me a little bit second to
yeah,
do the stuff.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about this whole story is that she got tipped. So meaning like these are the people who you have the opportunity to even make beyond your earning by doing a good job.
yeah, yeah.
So like how
Yeah.
much, like even if you don't want to be a friendly person because like you don't think it paid for it, you're kind of hard because
Yeah.
you know there's a incentive of
Yeah, yeah.
possibly getting
Yeah.
a good tip when you do a good
That's
job.
one good thing about tipping culture is that if you actually do a good job, people actually see it, right?
Mhm,
And yeah, and like the book they were reading, Grant Cardone, not trying to name drop him here, but he's a big tipper and he likes being serviced, right?
mhm.
And you know when you serve someone right, even if you go to a restaurant or something, you tip bigger, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are shaming on the tipping culture, but this is one good thing is that if you do a good job and clearly they did it, they still got a tip of
And
$20.
also did she say what day it was?
No, she didn't.
She didn't say.
No.
But you know, if I'm being perceptive, also, if it was during a weekday, if these people are coming in early in the morning, it must be like a holiday or destination, right? Maybe you
Yeah.
have one regular, but it might be like a holiday
Yeah.
destination. If there's a lot of new people that she's never seen before,
Exactly.
and if that's the case, this is where people who have maybe the funds to maybe give you, money for your work that you do are coming.
Exactly.
So it's like honestly,
Yeah.
she might have missed out on an
Yeah.
extra maybe from those 2-3 clients from that, an extra $30, which is probably an hour's worth of work, probably double her hourly wage,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
like even from an employee perspective, I think there's a missed opportunity.
Exactly.
Right?
And moral of the story is like, why should you give a shit, right? Moral of the story is don't fight fire with fire all the time, right? Sometimes it's better to take a step back, show some sympathy, analyze the situation before you start even speaking,
Exactly.
right? Because a lot of times, communication is key. You just have to be able to understand the others in their own shoes. And then you take your emotions back. You control your emotions, analyze the situation, and then act appropriately.
Yeah.
It will resolve a lot of situations. It actually solves war times, like it solves like global issues if people can just communicate,
Yeah.
right? It actually solves wars, political issues a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
that's why should you give a shit, right? So I think that concludes our first episode.
Yeah, first episode. It was just a quick tidbit. We're actually in not our usual spot. Sometimes we might change location, but we actually have an office spot, so it might look a little different next
Yeah.
time. It's going through some construction. So hope you enjoyed. Please follow us. Give us a like and a share. We plan to post pretty frequently, ongoing. So we plan to kind of share more stories. Maybe get some guest speakers eventually along the way,
Yeah.
right? Which
Yeah.
is going to be great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I hope you had just as much fun as William and I had making this. Like William said, we'll be coming out with new episodes every single week, giving you the most entertaining dose of audio and visual experience
Yeah.
on hotel industry updates, right? This will also give you a chance to kind of connect with us on a more personal level as well.
Yeah, just to get to know us.
Yeah,
right?
and we'll be sharing a lot about how we build our business. We'll be sharing stories from and progress on how we are building this business on our entrepreneurial journey, right?
Yeah.
So
And I think we might even take them on occasion. If we're going on, we do a lot of traveling, sometimes to different hotels. So we might even take you along
Yeah.
on some of the travels, and then maybe do it and some of the lobbies or anything like that. Let you know
Exactly.
about some things that they say that they're doing good,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
it's always good to learn, right? Find out new things, what people are doing. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's some other things I think you can expect from us. Yeah.
Yeah.
going forward.
Just stay tuned. I'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys.